with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to set the tone for our next speaker. And he, in fact, is the visionary behind DSP Design Associates that laid its foundation 3 decades ago. Now, steering the organization to command with expertise across master planning, building design services, and interior design, DSP Design ranks 58th among top 100 architectural practices in the world. In fact, DSP Design has designed over 400 million square feet across more than 1,000 projects with 75 national and international honors. And our speakers' design practices benefit from cumulative footprint in over 10 countries world over. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the utmost delight, and in fact, a delightful presence of none other than architect Yatin Patel of DSP Design, Mumbai. So please, let's have a huge round of applause to welcome none other than architect Yatin Patel on the stage.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, FOAID, and congratulations on celebrating 5 years. We at DSP, like I was introduced, we do master planning, architecture, and interiors. And in the interior subject, we've got different verticals that we do. And I'm going to talk about one of the verticals that's very dear to us, which is office design. And we've been delivering close to about, on an average, 5 or 6 million square feet of offices year on year, which led us to really think and dig deep and try and understand who is the client and what are we designing for. So it's important to understand that, and we said, let's do some research into that. We created within the firm what we call as a design cell. It's a team of 14 people that just do research on workspace strategies and global trends of office spaces. So who is the client? And when we're saying we're dealing with 5 to 6 million square feet of office spaces, so we're catering to close to 50 or 60,000 people that are going to work. So it's really important to understand that, of which those statistics are important. We're dealing with who we call the millennials. Who are these people? By 2030, 75% of our workforce will be millennials, or probably even going to Generation Z. We've been saying that for a bit, but I think by the time it's 2030, we'll go back to A and B and C already. So again, 75% of the workforce are going to be that. Now, these people think differently, they work differently, they react and they respond differently. So for companies to be productive, it's very important that the employees are productive. How do we as architects make spaces that get these guys to be happy at their workspace, to then ultimately be productive, and to keep them engaged? Now, retention of employees also is another factor that global organizations spend a lot of time, money in getting people and to reduce attrition rates. How can we as architects add to that or help our customers achieve that? Now, here are some statistics of the millennials. 75% believe that they will have 2 or 5 employers in their lifetime. Again, huge costs, huge HR costs in retention, training of these employees. 41% prefer to communicate through electronic means. We've all seen how technology is changing, how technology has changed the way in which we work. So people would like to have face-to-face meetings or on the telephone. Only 1/3 of employees are engaged at work currently. Now, you can see the postures, how they work. Those are the millennials for you. They want flexibility in and as where they work. The need for individuals differ, from generation to generation. People like me, Tony, and Ratan would work differently from some of you guys. We'll operate differently. Naresh is a different animal. He'll work completely differently. They want to talk to their managers often and are not scared of changing jobs. So how has this evolved? You know, in the older model, there used to be, more of I space or individual working space and very little of collaboration or group work. It was only restricted to about 30% on an average. The current work model is different. It's completely changed. It's more group work. 70% is group work and only 30% of individual work. And going forward, it's all going to be one community. So how has the office responded, or how has it changed? It's shaped by collaboration, and it's very important to know or to understand if your workspace is ready. Here are some current trends. Now you see the image on the left, or the plan on the left. It had very few options, or very restrictive, and that used to be how people worked. So you had offices or enclosed spaces on the periphery of the building. Most of the manager or higher management staff enjoyed the view, but also blocked the light, and very regimental type of seating arrangement for employees. And if you see the next diagram, it's very dynamic, and it had a variety of options of seating. So that one individual marked there could have his office now onto this side, which could be looking outside, still getting enough light and the opportunity of a view if the building had a view. And he or she has different work settings. So he could have a collaborative space, he could go into a phone booth, and if you look at the image on your right-hand side, you see how the spaces get defined. So it's your private space where you want to do focused work, you have a semi-public space, and you have a public space. And all of this becomes very dynamic, unlike what it used to be earlier. Now that's currently what the offices are. So we now have very adaptable, even furniture manufacturers now have very adaptable office spaces. So we've got height adjustable tables. Now research tells us that you need to have postural changes to enhance your productivity or to maintain your productivity level. So I'll give you a small example. When you come into work in the morning, you come up with, your productivity level is up there. As time goes, your productivity level slips down. So how are we as architects going to at least try and make that constant, if not, raise that level? So postural change is important. Imagine you're sitting 4 hours on your seat. Your productivity level is going to go down. One small gesture that we did at an office and we're practicing that very often. You have dustbins that are provided every workstation. We said, no more of that. You have a central trash bin. You're forcing the person to walk up probably once an hour or once in a couple of hours. Or you're at least making him make the effort to throw that piece of paper or whatever trash that he has. So small little things like that, and you can really have all those elements coming in. Furniture manufacturers are keeping up to these kind of trends. So there is height adjustable workstation, so you could either sit or you can stand or have your workstation to whatever height that you are comfortable with, or you may want to change of posture. So we've got a lot of manufacturers that provide that solution now. In fact, in Scandinavian countries, it's mandatory to provide 100% height adjustable workstations today already. And in time to come, I'm sure globally that will become mandatory. Work is no longer a place you go to. It's an activity that you do. If you look at, or if you map the entire day that the employee spends in the office, you'll realize that there's no longer the need for just that one small little desk that one was used to working out of. There's so many different modes or so many different activities that the individual does. And if you break all of that up and you provide space for each and every element of that, so you call that as activity-based workstations. So you have different modes. So it's you're giving up your desk and the whole office is your space. So it's no longer you're restricted to being within a 5x5 cubicle or maybe 100 square feet of real estate. The entire office is your space. Here are some examples of some ABW work settings. And these are actual photographs of offices that are being designed today. And interestingly, that phone booth there, that standalone phone booth, it's no longer just a phone booth. I mean, we've designed quite a few offices and we've provided some of those. Every time I walk into an office, and most times that I've seen that in use is not for a telephone. It's for somebody sitting there and sitting on his laptop and working independently. So it's like a confined workspace, like a concentrated workspace setting. Another example of another work mode is collaboration and different types of collaborative spaces. So you could have a group meeting or you can have booths that are there that can double up as dining booths. They can double up as meeting spaces. They can double up as interview areas as well. What is very common and very popular is the image at the bottom. It's a small amphitheater kind of a setting. It gives you the atmosphere, very conducive, and the millennials love this kind of a setting. So you can have formal presentations there, you can have group discussions, trainings, all sorts of things can happen. Or some people just go there and work. Because today technology has changed the way in work in such a way that you can work from anywhere, not necessarily from home, but also within the office space. So you can take your laptop and get connected to any location. Some more areas of ABW. So it's actually socializing as well as relaxation. Well-being also is another aspect that should be looked at. Well-being and biophilic design. Again, it helps you connect with nature. I also mentioned about getting physical. So you force people to travel. We've had situations, and I have one example here. If I have enough time, I think we're running short already. But we force people to use staircases and try and avoid the usage of elevators in the way we plan things. So, you know, if you've got different departments at different levels, maybe you want that visual connect to get provided, to accentuate that. So here are different modes for activity-based work areas. So there's more than 20 different types of work settings that really one requires, and not confined to just that one space that one thought one needed all these years. Here's an example of one of the projects that we did for Microsoft. We've been doing quite a few of their projects. This one is the one that we did in Mumbai. It's a theme-based design. We said, let's build a story, and like Tony said, we had a story that was weaved around this building, or this office. And since it was in Mumbai, we said, let's pick up the theme of Mumbai, and not just say, by saying picking up the theme of Mumbai, not just saying, I've got imagery of the Taj Mahal Hotel or the Elephanta Caves. But we said, let's look at the ocean. When someone refers to Mumbai, and the first thing that comes to mind is sea, beach, ocean, and water. So we picked up the ocean, and we translated it by the forms. We got the reefs, waves. So we got them translated into hues, textures, and even in the art, we got that whole language going. So what we had inherited was a very regimental office space. This is only about a 40,000 square feet office in Mumbai in BKC. So it was a very regimental, quite like the older school of workstation settings, and we transformed that completely into an agile and free address office. So when I mean free address, nobody has a designated desk. So you can walk in the office in the morning and then decide where you want to sit on that day. So some people, and with technology, you can choose who you want to sit next to, or you can find out where your group is sitting or where that project team is working. So you may want to get seated beside that, or you may want to be completely away from your boss as well. You can do that. So what we did is we put all the work seats towards the periphery of the building so that they get enough natural daylight. All the enclosed area, which were the collaborative spaces, meeting rooms, were placed in the center, which didn't have great natural light. And there were two distinct areas. One was the customer area, and one became the employee space. So those are images of the completed office. So if you see even the light fixtures, it picked up hues, the forms of the waves. Even the carpet was designed in such a way to pick up all the colors of the sand and water. We got that sculpture commissioned through a local artist. It actually is a representation of a fisherman's net. It casts excellent shadows onto the carpet there, and as you enter the space, it's a nice feeling. Also, the image on the left, we said that, and while I spoke about different settings or mood settings of spaces, we said all meeting rooms don't necessarily need to have a very formal meeting space or a meeting table and 4 chairs or 5 chairs. We designed these meeting rooms with a more residential kind of a background or a feel of a residence. And we said, you don't need the table, but it's got all the infrastructure that's required from a meeting room. So it's got the writing surfaces, the television screen, the projectors, and all of that, the right acoustics. But it still feels more residential. So it starts getting you in a much more relaxed posture than a very kind of a corporate environment. That's their customer lounge. Again, forcing people to go up to the the pantry space that was provided there. So it was a self-service. Again, from a postural aspect, one had to get up on your own and do that. That's their work in setting. Again, you see a small little focused area while it's still an open arrangement there. And those are the telephone booths on the top right-hand corner. And that's another version of a phone booth where you have 2 people in a phone booth, and if you wanted to take a conference call, that could happen right there. That's another area, or another collaborative space within that office. And on the image on the right shows you the taller desks. So again, from a postural change, people are very used to getting into that space. And these are more images of the residential type of meeting spaces. Again, very well utilized by the employees. And again, biophilia coming into the office. What we also said is, how do we make real estate more efficient? So normally people would say, let's provide large cafeteria spaces. We've got so many employees and we need a place for a cafeteria. We said it's a waste of area, waste of space, because the cafe space is used only for a couple of hours, 3 hours of the day. For the rest of the time, it's lying vacant. We said we will design what we call them as work cafes. So they're much smaller spaces, which also start doubling up as meeting rooms, training rooms. In fact, in this one here, we also provided a focused room, which is a small enclosure where you could make conference calls out of. And this one is really effectively used. Now you see both the images. You see the blue partition, that's a sliding folding partition that opens up or shuts down, and you have a presentation area right there. So it kind of doubles up as both the activities. I don't know if I have time. I don't think this will get over in 1 minute. Okay, so this is another office that we did for Swiss Re, and I mentioned about visibility and the vertical connect. This is an old building which Swiss Re took over. They were spread over 3 floors. So what we actually did is an architectural intervention where we cut open the slabs and we went up, because it was a large floor plate. The quality of light in the center was extremely poor. So we said, let's get this cut out, let's get the atrium going. We drew some element of light out of that. And around the atrium, we built all the enclosed spaces. So all the public spaces, which we called for collaboration, meeting rooms, all of those were planned in the center. And towards the periphery, we created what we called as neighborhoods. So there are 4 different neighborhoods. Again, this office was a no-address office. So within each neighborhood, so not the entire office, you couldn't, you were confined to that particular neighborhood, but within that neighborhood, you could have a choice of seating. This is a much larger setup. So those are actual renderings of the office. It's completed now. That's this atrium in the center. There's a video in this. There's a small video. Sound.
We at Swiss Re Global Business Solutions Centre, Bangalore, continue our focus on deepening capabilities, talent development, innovation, analytics, and sustainability, as we follow our aspiration of establishing ourselves as a centre of excellence. Our new state-of-the-art office in Bangalore is all set to accelerate this journey. 5 integral aspects make our workplace transformation a standout. Like all Swiss Re offices globally, this office is designed to enable employees realize their full potential as individuals and as teams.
For the first time, 1,000+ employees in Bangalore will be under one roof. Now we can live the agile collaborative culture in a truest sense.
It looks and feels world-class, and it's designed to make people want to interact more. And if you want to focus and concentrate, there's space for that too.
Apart from fostering a collaborative culture, our workplace also promotes employee well-being and seamless digital connectivity.
I spend nearly 9 hours in the office every day, and having a gym and workout area right here helps me have a fitness routine which I can integrate in my work.
With so many healthy options on my plate, my motto is now fitter at fair wins.
Workplace apps can now help me connect better with my colleagues, plan my commute, host visitors, and most importantly, order my food.
We're proud that 30% of our electricity needs are met by our own solar plant. Fairwinds has a truly green conscience. Among other things, potable water will be reduced by up to 45%. Smart building features will help us use less energy, improve air quality, and much more.
The artworks by established and upcoming Indian artists in our workspace is really exciting.
Swiss Re has a long-standing commitment to art and architecture. This creates a stimulating work environment and plenty of opportunities for conversation. And that, I think, definitely sets us apart.
As we transform into a risk knowledge company, Swiss Re workplaces around the world are also changing to enable the transformation. And Bangalore is the latest to join the club. We at Swiss Re Bangalore have the talent, passion, and most importantly, the vision to establish ourselves as a center of excellence and offer compelling value to the group. And now, we have the best-in-class enabling infrastructure and inspiring work environment. This is the start of something really amazing.
Well, thank you.